What is up, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets-Haber. We are going to be breaking down the AFC and NFC championship games from a DFS perspective. Maybe we'll talk about some general bets too. Sheets, what is sort of your overall thoughts? I know we're lucky we're recording a little later than usual, so we got the Antonio Brown is out news.
Yeah, I mean that certainly makes things a little, I guess, more straightforward, right? Because you always have those questions, which of the Tampa receivers. What was wrong with him, by the way?
I didn't even hear about anything until today.
Okay.
I mean, I knew he was questioned. I thought that everybody was questionable on their team, so I figured everybody would play.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's so funny. It's probably a testament to the way you're supposed to play football nowadays. But running backs are kind of tough to come by, right?
Right.
Because nobody uses them.
So, right.
Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire playing?
He's supposed to be. I think he was a limited practice participant, so I'm expecting him to play. All
right. Well, what do you think of let's have some fun. Let's talk about the games first of all. So, I mean, you got Aaron Jones against Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, which is just awesome, right?
Yep.
And then you got the young guys, you got the up and comers in the other game and the veterans in the first game. I think it's terrific. I think they all got good skill position players, and I think you can't. And they made the salaries you could play pretty much whatever you want to play, right? So first of all, who do you think is going to be the most popular of like all four of these teams?
I mean, it's hard to say the teams because like Devontae Adams will be one of the most popular plays. Aaron Jones will be one of the most popular plays, and I have a pretty so right off the bat. First of all, I like this game. I really am stuck. I really think Green Bay is going to win, but it feels kind of weird to. I really do, and I think that Green Bay could win this. I don't want to say easily, but I think they could actually be a lot more dominant than we think. The problem is, I want from a DFS perspective to just completely fade Aaron Jones.
Okay, you can do that.
Maybe I can play him some places. I need to know what happens with AJ Dillon because they're giving AJ Dillon the ball. Like he's getting some carries in there. He had six attempts against the Rams, and they were all everybody was going well for them. Jamal Williams also obviously is going to get some work. He had 12 attempts against LA, and Aaron Jones he outperformed them, but he only had 14 attempts. He also had 2 targets and 1 reception. But look, we're looking for running backs in the slate, so I understand it, but I don't know that I want to play either of the other guys I'm not talking about here. Maybe Williams I would give some shots to, but for the most part, I more want to look away from that, play the passing game of Rodgers to Adams with a little bit of the other guys. And I'm going to play Fournette or Jones basically in all my lineups.
Who are you gonna play a running back?
Fournette, Ronald Jones, Edwards-Helaire, and some Singletary.
You were going to play Singletary? Yeah, I'm not playing him.
I don't love it, but I'm just saying, and I think you can run the ball a little bit here, but I mean, they should have their best run stopper back for Tampa Bay. It's just the crazy ownership with what's really become like a timeshare. He's the main back, but it's not like that game was like they were giving carries because they were blowing him away. No, those were happening all through a tight game. All
right, let's build a nice kind of master the obvious type of build here, right? So let's fade Aaron Jones. We'll play Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams and Tanya. Make sense?
Yeah, I love Tanya.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Tanya's 3,600. I mean, that's you know what I mean? Or if you don't want to play Travis Kelce at 8,000, right? I mean,
Right.
And then run it back. I suppose Godwin's your favorite, or you like Evans better?
I like Godwin a little bit better, but I think it's pretty close this week for me, actually. So I actually think Gronk gets a boost, and I think Scotty Miller is in play.
Wait 1 second. I guess
you wanted to go
to. So you don't think there's a big difference between Godwin and Evans? What you're saying?
No, but I prefer Godwin overall, but I do think that Evans is I think it's really close. So I would throw Godwin in if I was making like a normal build. I think he's going to be the more popular of the two. but I do think Evans is a really good play. Also, I think they're going to end up being both pretty popular. And then I think Scotty Miller is your wild card play. I don't know if I would do the Tyler Johnson thing, but maybe I'd consider it. They used him on like the biggest third down conversion they had in the last game, and if not for that play, like they might not have even won that game. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas because we're going to lose Antonio Brown, who's obviously would have been on the field a lot. And I actually like Gronk this week. So if you wanted to do something weird and play Gronk instead of Tanyan or even both of them together, then you're getting really weird in a way that I kind of like. I actually think Gronk has upside here, and he's going to be really low owned. So it's something I'm just throwing out all the ideas here.
What about you like any of the secondary receivers for Green Bay?
So I would give the edge to Lazard, assuming that he plays, of course. But I do have a little bit of interest in both of them. He and Valdez-Scantling. I prefer to just playing Tanyan instead, but I do think Lazard would be the way I would go over MVS.
Okay. All right. So I mean, this is like a normal guys. So I mean, you want to move on to the next game?
Sure, and we can just go revisit it back and talk. You can talk about your plays too. Like I'm sure you might have some takes. I know the fading Aaron Jones thing is I'm automatically like I'm gonna have him in probably. He's gonna end up probably in a couple lineups because you need to play a running backs and it's really hard to. But I just want to emphasize that I don't think he's this lock play. And I think you could just play Jamal Williams too. If Dylan's out, then it's harder not to play him. But it does make Jamal Williams an interesting tournament play too.
Well, I definitely feel if you think Green Bay wins the game, I mean, at least even somewhat handily, I think you should probably play their defense, right?
I like Green Bay's defense. Green Bay and KC are my favorite defenses. I don't think that's anything shocking.
Okay. So, see, again, for those who've been following along, my same comment on Buffalo. Now, again, there's so few choices that it might not matter. That you still might have to play Singletary, but as I've been mentioning, they just have no touchdown upside like ever. I mean, when these running backs, when they get down to the 10-yard line, the ball either goes right into Allen's hands or a play action to a tight end. And I mean, I'm just looking at Singletary just for example. Does he have a touchdown the whole season? He's got 1-2 touchdowns the whole season. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, but the thing is, like you're implying, there's only 4 running. I mean, that's not true. There are more than 4 running backs. So maybe you don't have to play. I don't know. Maybe you don't have to play Singletary. I feel
don't have to play him. He's going to be he's going to be about 50% owned probably.
Well, screw that then. I mean,
well, I mean, again, it just comes down to options. I'll take the Singletary. I actually am going to give the Buffalo coaching staff I think they're going to play this game a little bit differently if they can. Start off, they're going to try to run the ball. I actually think that that's going to happen. They did it the second half of the last game against Baltimore in that tied 3-3 game. And it sort of opened things up a little bit for their passing game. He still only 7 carries, but not 2 for Yeldon also. So they had 9 carries versus 0 in the first half against Baltimore. And I think that the Chiefs might, try to make them run the ball actually a little bit, which sounds really weird. But it's not just that. It's also even then the later on he has pass catching upside if the Chiefs do their Chiefs thing and get up by a couple of scores. He has a lot of PPR upside. That's the reason I'm considering him. And again, he's still going to be lower on than Aaron Jones is. But you can just switch over and play Williams. You can play Jones and Williams too. That might not be the worst idea in the world. I do think it's going to be a Rodgers game, but that's where I'm at.
Okay, so. Let's look at these prices of the Kansas City Buffalo guys. Well, who do you like more? Let's put it another way. Diggs or Hill? Both as cheap as they've been, like in a long time.
I prefer. So it's really close because they're going to be similarly owned. I think I prefer the idea of playing more. Like, I don't care that Kelsey's going to be 1,000,000% owned. I have a lot of double tight end lineups. I actually think he's not going to be as owned as he should be. I think Kelsey is the better play here. And I don't usually feel that way, or I don't always feel that way. So I would say I'm going more Kelsey with Diggs than I am Hill with Diggs because I'm using more Kelsey than anybody else, basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where are you at?
I know. I wasn't playing. I'm playing Kelsey at 8,000.
No, that's fine, and you can skip him. That's totally fine. I would say it's a great matchup for him. I think it is. I think it's actually the best way to attack the Bills. So let's just see. I know he had he only had he had 2 touchdowns the last time they played. Nothing amazing, but I do think that that's where they're going to attack them a lot, and I feel like one of the strengths for the Bills is their corners, especially against the number one receiver between White and their doubles and their cover and their zones. So if Watkins is out, I probably would like Hill. It would be probably a little closer for me, but I don't know for sure. I think Watkins is probably going to try to play, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So that also, is going to change my love for Hardman, or maybe on a 2-game slate, you play me Demarcus Robinson.
How much? What do you think of Jamal Williams?
I like Jamal Williams. I need to know the AJ Dillon situation. That's a huge deal to me. They definitely are trying to give this kid some carries.
Yeah, but remember, this is the NFC Championship game. It's not just a question of trying to give the kids some carries. You know what I mean?
They were giving him the carries though in the tightest game in the most important spots on 3rd down because he's a monster.
Right.
So instead of if he gets that Jamal Williams work, I definitely have less interest.
Yeah, if Dillon is out, then like a lineup like this plays itself. You know what I mean? Like all lineup like this does is it doesn't play Kelsey.
Doesn't play Kelsey. Doesn't play the popular Jones, and it doesn't play Fournette, by the way, which I think is the guy who I'm having trouble keeping out of my lineups this week.
Why is that?
Fournette and Jones, because there aren't that many running backs. I need to pick one. I don't like the. I think that the running game has a chance of succeeding, especially with Antonio Brown out. These guys, he had 5 catches in the last game. This is not like just a running ground and pound guy. But the way you want to beat Green Bay is generally through the ground game. And again, they're still good against the ground game. These guys are all good. These are all good defenses everywhere. But Fournette's been really heavily featured, and they used Jones a ton last week too against another really good defense. And between the two of them, how many touches did they have? It was something absurd. They had 20, 30 touches almost. I'm sorry, 40, almost 38, 36 touches. That's a ton. So I think that they're going to end up doing some of that. And I don't see Brady, if they can get pressure on him, being able to just drop back and do what we've seen it. It doesn't quite work.
Now, Josh.
It could be Ronald Jones, though, by the way. It doesn't have to be. In fact, I'm going to make a note that I think I want to get some of those guys more together, actually.
So I don't know. Who didn't we mention? So aside from Diggs, you like the would you go back to John Brown, or Cole Beasley looks really cheap?
Yeah, Cole Beasley is going to be popular, and after a game they didn't use him, I expect this to be a game where he actually should thrive. They should need him a lot underneath. He just doesn't look healthy. That's the only thing I worry about. But look, they're all trying as hard as they can. It does seem like a good matchup for him because they're going to, especially because they're going to throw the ball a lot and all that. I like John Brown also. I'm trying to do the same thing where I'm playing Allen as my quarterback, and it sucks. I'm going to have some Allen with Diggs, but I have Allen, Rodgers, and Mahomes as my quarterbacks. So where I play some Allen, though, I want to play him without Diggs and with Beasley and John Brown.
That's pretty cool.
Just to try to do something a little bit different on what's going to be a popular site. Then you can just pay up for the other 2 receivers, Evans and what's his name, Devontae Adams. But yeah, I don't think you want to be using the running back in your flex too much this week, and I think that you want to be using the tight end in your flex this week.
Just maybe would you? Yeah, I guess Tanya and Kelsey, if you like Kelsey. But you like you mentioned him a couple of times. You think you like Gronk a little bit, huh?
I do. I think that it's actually annoying to me because I think people will play him a little bit more with Brown out, but I don't know, man. I think that playing he and Tanyan and he and Kelsey and Tanyan and Kelsey, that makes a lot of sense for the utility slot. But I do like also playing Gronk. I just like Gronk a lot this week. I think that the Gronk Tanyan thing is going to be low, like super low owned combination. I mean, maybe it won't be as much as I think it is, but I sort of love doing that. Then you can pay up for the receivers, but you've already differentiated yourself so much. If you do that and then like don't play one of Adams, Diggs, and Hill, you're already different.
So did we get any word from? So did Clyde Edwards-Helaire practice today or no? Do we know yet?
I don't know about today. I know he practiced the other day.
Oh, okay.
Limited. And if he's out, I don't mind just switching and going right back to Darrell Williams.
Yeah, I would prefer that.
You know, it's probably not a bad point. In fact, there's a play for you. Don't you think?
What, just play Williams anyway?
Yeah. Like what about if they just march him out there, but he's really not full go? It's more like I mean, he's not so great though to be a decoy. Like
right.
I don't know. This kid had one start. You know what? It's crazy. He has one good game in his first game, and all of a sudden, everybody thinks he's like and I don't understand it. Like he's really good. He's good. So is Williams was really good last week for them.
Right.
In a very tough game script for him because they had no Mahomes for half of the game, basically. But I think there's ways to get different. I mentioned some of them. So just in terms of like low ownership plays, some other guys that I'll just say like, so I think that's what we're going to be looking at on a 2-game slate. So I like the double tight end thing, which I mentioned. I think that's one way to get different. I like Lazard. I think he'll be low owned. I think Dawson Knox at tight end, if you want to do him with like Kelsey, I think that's kind of an interesting other low owned double pairing that you could go for. Jamal Williams, we talked about. MVS, I like not a ton, but a 10% of my lineups. Sure, I'll still be well ahead of the field. Really, really long shot play, Isaiah McKenzie. Really long shot play. I like Ronald Jones a ton, but I like Fournette better. So I like both of those guys. And then we have to wait and see what happens with Watkins, because I think that's going to determine, do I want to try and play some Scotty Miller, some Nicole Hardman, or would I rather play Scotty Miller, Nicole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson? Because I do think one of those value guys, those value guys are going to be low owned, just like the other guys, because you can sort of afford everybody. But there's tons of upside with any Chiefs receiver, and we've already seen that. Same is true with Green Bay, more so, and Tampa, but they're just more obvious receivers. But like Lazard and MVS could easily, have a monster performance if they really do focus in on Devontae, which they're going to try to do. I just don't even know if it matters anymore.
So I guess we'll leave it as what is your opinion on the games? What are the spreads and the totals? You know what they are?
KC -3, and the total is 54. Green Bay -3.5, and the total is 52.
And tell me where's the sharp we know everything money going. I remember last year.
I'm not looking at it.
I remember last year all the genius money went out on San Francisco in the Super Bowl, and you're like, screw that, I'm taking Kansas City.
Yep. I'm going to bet on the best team, so I'll bet on Kansas City. And I think it's a good bet. I really do. I think that this game plays, however many times that Green Bay wins this game. I mean, KC wins this game. They maybe people say they coasted this year. Mahomes, his ankle, and he's coming off a concussion. But I just think that KC wins this game. I think Buffalo got very lucky. I mean, literally, it was the one bad play by Lamar, right? It was, and then the fact that he had to get knocked out of the game. But I mean, that was a game that they were actually, in my opinion, being outplayed most of the first half. And they either missed a field goal by Tucker. You had a lot of just like terrible bad breaks, bad penalties that cost huge plays. Buffalo's, in my opinion, got lucky in both games. And I think they're good. I don't think they're as good as everybody's hyped them up to be. I like KC to win that game actually pretty, not easily, but I think they'll control it. And I think that Green Bay beats Tampa Bay, and we get to see the two best quarterbacks in football.
I think we're seeing them already in the AFC Championship game.
Why doesn't Aaron Rodgers deserve to be in that He's going to be the
Yeah, I know. I understand.
I think he's like, I think that he was the first version of Mahomes, and Mahomes is just the 2.0 version.
Yeah, it's, you know what? After all the NFL went through, they got they got the best matchups. You know what I memean? You got Brady against Rodgers. You got Allen against Mahomes, and I think that they're both. I mean, you got 2 3-point spreads, right? I really don't think at the beginning of the year they could have scripted it any better, honestly.
Did they ask for anything else? Like right now with the narrative, like especially lately, like once the playoffs.
Like if Lamar were playing better.
Yeah, that's
true.
Know? That's true. I mean, actually, I think that people would have been excited for that one too. But I do think the Buffalo thing, sort of built steam up for a while. Like people were,
and the Buffalo fans, even though the game's not in Buffalo, right? That was a really big deal last week. And, I mean, they and it's funny. NFL doesn't really write their narratives sort of like the way some sports do. The NFL just kind of just is what it is, and I like it, man. I like it. I'm gonna play again. I'm gonna finish it off. I'm gonna play all 3 slates, right? I'm gonna play both showdowns. I'm gonna play the whatever, and I'm just gonna enjoy the games.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, wait, who did you say who you liked?
I didn't. I like this is gonna be very anti-Sheets. I like the KC Buffalo game to go over.
I actually like it to go over too, which is funny because I thought you were going to say under for 1,000,000% until you said it's very anti-Sheets. I was like, oh,
that's right. That's right. I think that game is going to go bonkers. And literally last one with the ball wins.
Last one with the ball wins. I don't think it's that the Chiefs are. I think you're giving Buffalo a little bit too much credit, but
I just haven't seen KC stop anybody. That's the thing.
I mean, that's actually a good point. We'll see, though. It's going to be a really, really fun time. I know what I'm doing Sunday. To everybody out there, good luck, and we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.